Dude, wasn't that just a nice... Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do! I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life! I'm taking crazy pills! With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, Puppy Ziggy! You want to work on your Anthony Stolarz impression? Okay, first you gotta catch this. Okay, great. Now turn into a Great Dane. Hi, I'm Steve Dangle. I do LFR videos. That's Leafs fan reaction after every single Leafs game. This is the 18th season that I've been doing it. We're 6 games into the season. The Leafs are 3-2 before this game. 3-2, that means 3 wins, 2 losses. They had 3 wins heading into this one, which means they had already won. But there are wins that are wins, and there are wins that are wins! Leafs win! They're still beating hard out of the Tampa Bay Lightning! 5-2! Steve, can you maybe tone it down? This is only game 6? I don't care! And neither should you! Oh, what is it about beating the Lightning? What is it about beating the Lightning? I didn't mean to do that, Felix. I'm sorry. They pulled Vasilevsky! Andre Vasilevsky got pulled in a regular season game before we got GTA 6. That's nuts! Oh, when they beat Kucherov? I love when they beat Kucherov! Brandon Hagel, his face! Brandon Hagel's face. What's up with it? I don't even know what it is about it. It's the way it sits on his head. Do you know how much of a motor mouth you gotta be for me? Me to notice how much you talk, you motor mouth? Always yapping. You know what? No. Let's have a talk. I'm hype. I'm very hype. I'll tell you why I'm hype. Before this game, I got to spend an hour on stage with Matt Sundin at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Don't believe me? Here's a picture. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's me with Matt Sundin. Here's another one, and another one, and another one. So if I seem a little worked up, that's because I am. I've been a Leaf fan my entire life. I grew up watching the guy. I've been dropping stuff all day. I shattered a jar full of strawberries. It's a new thing. My wife's trying to preserve them for longer. I don't know if it's working, and what's definitely not good for them is me shattering the jar. I tried to pour myself a cup of coffee before going up on stage, and someone working there was like, hey, your hand's shaking. I'm like, yeah. And then I got to do it. I got to go up on stage. I got to meet the man. I got to shake his hand. It was like Macho Man and Hulk Hogan, the superpowers. And he's talking about his time with the Leafs and how much he loved his time with the Leafs and romantically reminiscing about being the captain of the Leafs, wearing that C on his chest, what it meant to him to be a leader, thinking back to the times when he would travel to a Leaf playoff game from within the city going down Yonge Street and seeing people wearing jerseys on top of their suits. Do you know how unbelievably legendary you need to be to make traffic and suits in Toronto sound romantic? And then we get to this game and what happens? The Leafs stuck their foot so far up Tampa's butt that they went down to Lake Ontario and started riding him around like a wakeboard. So, I guess we can ask ourselves, do I care that it's game 6? No! Listen to me. Anyone who tells you to calm down, if you're way too happy or way too uptight, they're probably giving you good advice. I'm not gonna lie to you. When it comes to sports, when it comes to being a fan, being a fanatic, absolutely not. You take that person out of your house. See, this is a far cry from last game. Yeah, they lost that one. Was it a bad game? No. Did we talk about it like it was a catastrophe? No. But we did talk about it a little bit like concerned parents, disappointed parents. You know what I mean? We're not mad, we're just disappointed. Which is the one everyone uses, but this one's even worse. We know you're capable of better. Oh, because it's a reprimanding disguised as a compliment. And now you're disappointed in yourself. And you do want to do better, and the Leafs wanted to do better in this one, and they did. I got a lot of messages, a ton of messages from people talking about this being the most complete Leafs win of the season so far. Now, granted, there's only 4 to choose from, but yeah, they're right. They did very well against the LA Kings. They also didn't need a timeout in this one where Craig Berube had to yell at them to wake the F up. But in 2024, do the LA Kings carry the same cachet, the same clout as the Tampa Bay Lightning? Nah. The Kings were good. The Kings were great for a time. They won in 2012, they won in 2014, and what have they done since? And if you're a Kings fan watching this, you might be like, oh, from a Leafs fan, that's pretty rich. Are the Leafs the standard that you strive for? Not over the last few years. No, you know who is a team worth replicating over the last few years? The Tampa Bay Lightning. Cup. Final, lost to the Leafs, and all good things come to an end. But none of us have written them off, have we? Doesn't matter what move they do, what streak they go on, we still look at them like, it's Tampa. You want to play them in the playoffs? Might win. The Leafs did last time they played them, but do you wanna? A lot of people were pretty surprised. Did you see the video? The GM was very surprised. Eastern Conference rival, Atlantic Division rival, that's why this game mattered. But above all else, people saying this is the most complete win they've had so far, This, to me, was the first clear example of the Leafs wanting it so much more than their opponent. If you're a Leaf fan who was at that game, leave a comment in the comment box. What was it like? What was it like? Tell me the feeling. Because first period, William Nylander, snipe, yeah, early. Matt Sundin is in the building, yeah. Nick Paul scores to tie it up somewhat late, and we go into intermission, and it's 1-1. And you're still feeling pretty good. You're still feeling pretty hyped, but it's 1-1. This game could go any way. I am full of the same youthful excitement and dread that I always am at a sporting event. Then the second period begins, and the Leafs get a power play, and any Leafs fan who's been paying attention has a conflict going on in them. It's two primal instincts at once. The first is that, hooray, my team got a power play. That's a good thing. The second is, it ain't good for my team, but it was here. Leafs top unit out there. Mitch Marner has the puck, shoots it! A rebound, and Matthews taps it in! Hooray for the power play. They get on the board once again, and it turns out good things happen when you go to the net! And the Leafs are now up 2-1. The Leafs hold on to that lead for a little bit, and they say, you know what? You guys like that lead? Everyone goes, ah! What if it was bigger? And everyone went, ah! And so Bobby McMahon just goes, ah! He just slashes at the thing. William Nylander just giddies up, flies on in, and what are you making me feel bad for Andrei Vasilevsky for? That was yuck! Nylander's second of the night could have easily been his 8th, and the Leafs are up 3-1, but that is when the game takes a turn. The Lightning got up to shenanigans behind the net, and Max Domi did not appreciate it, and neither did Bobby McMahon, who removed one of their helmets. And in that moment, the officials decided, yes, these are two equally terrible things. I think you deserve to kill off a full 2-minute 5-on-3. Listen. I'm not here to tell you that Max Domi didn't hook anyone. He did. I'm also not here to tell you that Bobby McMahon didn't remove another player's helmet. Of course he did. But, and this is just my opinion, I didn't think that a full 2-minute 5-on-3 was a valid outcome for that thing that happened behind the net, because I have watched an NHL game before! What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, and it's the Lightning. It's the Lightning! Kucherov's gonna get 5 goals on 1 power play. I know it's not a major shut up! You know what I said? It's good to have a friend who tells you to calm down sometimes? Not helping! And this is when you find out something weird about Leafs fans. 3 goals went in before that for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and everyone went hooray for all of them. But we're weird, man. Unless it's an overtime winner, goals are like the 3rd or 4th loudest cheer that you're gonna hear in that building. Goalie makes a crazy save. Anthony Stolarz sweeping the thing off the goal line. Oh yeah, that's getting up there. But a 5-on-3 penalty kill for a full 2 minutes. They are moving the puck around, blasting the thing on net, and they're throwing their bodies. Chris Tanev just wincing, just getting battered and brutalized and getting back up like the babyface in a wrestling match. A 5-on-3 penalty kill is hockey's purest form of David versus Goliath, and on this day, David won. They kill it off. Domi and McMahon return to the ice, and you knew one thing: the Leafs ain't losing tonight, and this building's gonna need a new roof. Steve, that's 2 things. You can't tell me nothing! The Leafs just won 5-2! You know how hype I am? I forgot. It was actually 4-1 when that happened, because Connor Timmins scored too. You know what's crazy about that? He didn't, actually. They went to Matt Pacioretty instead. Timmins got a secondary assist on something that everybody thought was a goal. All right. And that goal chases Andrei Vasilevsky, a goalie who never gets pulled. One of the best goalies of the generation. He has a Hall of Fame resume already. And for any of you that are guffawing at that, go and look. The dude's not even 30. Dude's got 2 cups. Dude's got Vezinas. Dude's got Conn Smythe. He is ridiculous. He is a phenom. He is on the bench wearing a baseball cap because of the Leafs. And to top it all off, Mitch Marner sends a backhander up the ice. 2 Lightning collide. Matthew Knies on a breakaway. Scored! You can't tell me this hockey game wasn't Metallica in a bottle. How many of the people who were at that game are calling in sick tomorrow? Dude, I'm calling in sick tomorrow. My head's killing me after that. Look at me. Look at it. I'm sweating. The Leafs outplayed the Lightning. The Leafs outclassed the Lightning. The Leafs outworked the Lightning. They wanted this game more. The Lightning are a good team. They're a ridiculous team, redonkulous team. There's a reason they've had all the success that they've had. But they have a habit where games like this happen, where things start to not go their way, and then they decide, you know what? Playing hockey for the rest of the night Meanwhile, the Leafs took these 2 points like they were the last molecules of oxygen on the planet. It didn't matter that they didn't even score in the third period. It didn't matter that Braden Point got a late one on the power play, and then the Leafs continued to be on the power play. But you know what did matter? Pontus Holmberg, who had a tough game on Saturday, looked great in this one, was great on the 5-on-3, was great all game, scores an empty netter off a pass from Steven Lorentz, and they called it back because they got it wrong. Oh, they should have challenged it. I know that these refs are tiny little babies and they take things very personally, but on principle, Domi's fighting Zemgus, which is a mismatch. I don't care, don't touch her guy. Ekman Larson rocking Jake Gensel. Simone Benoit pointing up at the scoreboard at Eric Cernak. And if I'm any Lightning fan, I'm laughing at that hysterically, because how are you going to point at the scoreboard to a dude who has 2 cup rings? You know what's great? I actually have an answer for that. Because it's hilarious, that's why. When'd you win those cups? Tonight? What'd you come here for? Exactly, it's October 21st. You came here for 2 points. These 2 points? You don't get them! I guess what I'm trying to say as I wipe sweat off my brow, I don't care. I don't care that it's game 6. I genuinely don't care. This ruled. This friggin' ruled. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. Steve, the Leafs have a game against Columbus tomorrow. And is this not a very Leafy thing where they would beat the Tampa Bay Lightning, like spank them, and then the very next night they would take on a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets and get pumped something like 4-1? To that I would say, yeah, that is actually quite a Leafy thing to do. But as they haven't done that yet, as it's today and they won today, or you're watching this tomorrow and they won last night, I don't care! This rules! Listen, in Leaf Nation, we feel the lows. We feel them hard. And there's been a lot of them, and they've gone to the deepest of depths. And what I've seen too often, far too often, is because the Leafs have had many setbacks, to say the least. People almost feel silly for getting too up about them. People go, oh, I guess you're planning the parade. Oh, I bet you think this is our year. If you're not gonna get up for the wins, you're not allowed to feel bad when they lose. But Steve, I can't help it. I feel bad when they lose. That's a great point. And where I want you to get to is where you can't help it to feel the way that you do when they win. Stop feeling bad for yourselves. Your team won last night in big fashion, and the former captain was in the building, and all of it friggin' rolled, and it feels amazing, and I hope you feel amazing. Questions. Who do I mail this apology about OEL to? He's been steady as hell. Oh, your apology letter was actually already received by Oliver Ekman-Larsson in the form of a Stanley Cup ring. Why didn't we all know he was great? It's like we all forgot those games were televised. See? That's that Leafs fatalism, right? Oh, they signed a guy, it must have been bad. No! Stop it! How peaceful did this feel for you on a scale of 1 to 10? Yeah, that's how I would describe the emotions that just played out, as peaceful. I felt it's probably 20. Not a question, but Simone Benoit forever! Look at this! Look at this! Oh, Benny, I love you! Likes/dislikes about Amazon's broadcast? Shoot, this is actually like a valid question, but I gotta like slow down for it. I thought it was good. I thought it was their first Leafs broadcast. I think a lot of people were talking about it like it was the best thing since sliced bread, and maybe it was. I saw a lot of people calling it mid, and maybe it was. I think you gotta grade everything on a bit of a curve. You gotta treat it like something that you've only seen once because you have. Was it actually as good as I thought it was, or was it just a 5-2 win that featured Matt Sundin? Was it actually as bad as I thought it was, or was it literally just a broadcast doing their first one? They gotta work out all the kinks. By my view, very good first show. This one's not a question, but here's Chris Tanev with the heavyweight belt and no shirt. I love you! And last but certainly not least, from Sean Smith, game is over. Time for, and he's got a copy of my new book, Hockey Rants and Raves. Dude, let me talk about it for just a minute. So I was at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Talked to Matt Sundin about his new book, Home and Away. It's a good book. I know that because I read it. Do you want my favorite page? This one, the one that he signed to Steve. But like I was saying earlier in the video, nervous all day, dropping things all day, handshaking all day. I grew up watching Matt Sundin. We'll talk about this more in depth on the podcast, but like I have been looking forward to, and by that I mean dreading, this day for a long time. I don't get nervous for much anymore, and the stuff I do get nervous for makes me feel like I'm dying. And I have felt like that for about a week, on and off. Big time the last 48 hours, big time last 24 hours. And I got up on stage, and I didn't die. And I got to talk to Matt Sundin for an hour about his career, and about his life, and about things that make him laugh, and about what it meant to be a Leaf. And this is season 18 doing LFR videos. Some of my first videos are about Matt Sundin's final season as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's the dumbest. It's the. It was a moment of reflection. Really friggin'. Oh, my brain's short circuiting right now. And the only way to get through an hour-long conversation like that with Matt Sundin in front of 200 people, by the way, is to, you know how sharks sleep? Like, their brain is divided into quarters, and they sleep like a quarter at a time. Is this the Toronto Zoo that I mentioned I used to work there coming in? Okay, so you got to divide your brain where the part that's freaking out that you're on stage with Matt Sundin, that's just elevator music. It's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that's it. And then the other half of your brain is like, hey, you still need to do a job, and so that part of the brain is sharp. And then once that's all done, you fuse those two parts of your brain back together, and you black out, and you don't remember anything that was said or done, and everyone in the room looks happy, so I guess I did a good job. So that's what that's like. I think that's my cue. That's my cue. I'm excited. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I don't care what they do next game. What happened tonight rules, and I am going to act accordingly.